Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio. And now, here's our host, Dr. Vanessa Anceloni.
Welcome, dear listener, to Kardec Radio. We are here at the Chantilly, Virginia studios of Kardec Radio, and you're invited to talk to us about the very topic today, which is spiritual assistance in Spiritist centers. It's about spiritual care, spiritual treatment, and things of the nature. And we would like to explain to you that the program that was supposed to be today on the tribute to the gospel has been postponed to August. Our friend Charles Kempf from France is going to be here with us in August talking about the very topic on the 150 years of the gospel according to Spiritism. Today we're dedicating to a topic that many people have been asking us. First, from the perspective of the practitioner, how do I become a practitioner to help, or a worker, some people say, to help others receive spiritual care, passes, etc.? We're going to answer these questions here today. And also, what do I do to get spiritual assistance in Spiritist centers from the patient perspective, from the participant perspective? You just need to hold on. After the break, I'm going to answer these questions to you and much, much more. Allan Kardec himself, in the Gospel According to Spiritism, he dedicated a chapter titled, "Many are called, but few are chosen." This chapter has everything to do with the topic we're going to discuss today. It talks about specifically an item that says, "Not all those who say, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven," saying that it's not enough to say words, but it is important to follow through. Walk the talk, as we say nowadays. Many people pray, but in their daily lives they do not change their hearts. They don't transform themselves. And that's really, really hard to receive spiritual care and also to participate as a practitioner in a Spiritist group. We're going to discuss this and much, much more after the break. But before we go to the break, we would like to remind you that we are also going to discuss messages that were recently published in the Spiritist magazine, issue 25. The Spiritist magazine is at the website, thespiritistmagazine.com. It's free of charge. You can read it on PDF. You can read it on digital form through HP MagCloud. There is a link at our website. And you can also have your printout copy in your home. I have my own. You can listen to the noise of the pages being flipped in this very magazine, and I tell you, it is just so beautiful. I agree with the many who say, "Vanessa, I prefer paper." And me too. So all you have to do is just go to our website, thespiritistmagazine.com, and buy your copy today. That's all you have to do. Nothing more, nothing less. And you're going to have your own copy at your own house. Very, very, very easy. And we're going to discuss especially an article there that talks about statistics on spiritual assistance in Spiritist Center. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. In the meantime, we'd like to pray for you, to play for you a message that is titled Prayer of Service. This is the tone of our conversation today. It is about service. And this is in the book and CD, Enlightening Messages from Several Spirits through Chico Xavier, published by the Spiritist Society of Baltimore. And you can buy it at the bookstore of the SSB, ssbaltimore.org. There's a bookstore. Go there. Order your copy, and you're going to see your life is going to be transformed because you can play the CD in your car, in your home, and listen to this beautiful message. Let us listen to this, and after the break, We have a lot to answer. Questions many people have been asking us, and finally we're going to be able to answer.
Prayer of Service. Lord, teach us to walk the enlightening path of service. Give us the strength to destroy the heavy fortress of our wrongdoings, the courage to pave the way to freedom from ourselves, and the means to unlock our hearts in favor of our neighbors, surrendering to them at last the treasures of love with which you entrusted us. Wherever we walk, may pain become less hurtful, ignorance less aggressive, hatred less cruel, darkness less dense, lethargy less shadowing, intolerance less destructive. If we do not yet possess the positive qualities to enrich our terrestrial journey, help us to mitigate the injustices that surround us. May we, in your name, distribute fraternity and renewal, and use with happiness the sublime and invisible gifts of silence, comprehension, and renunciation. Lord, who taught us without words the supreme lessons of simplicity in the cradle and of sacrifice in the cross, leading us toward spiritual development and divine resurrection. Guide our uncertain walk and help our sanctified propositions, so that your will, merciful and just, be unto us, with us, and for us, today and forever, wherever we may be. So be it.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Getting to the Light, Spiritist Therapy for Discarnate Spirits is a small book that offers guidance to Spiritist practitioners and Spiritist counselors. Purchase your copy at www.ssbaltimore.org.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
If you missed out on any previous shows, no worries. We have an on-demand section of all previous shows and interviews. Go to our website at www.kardecradio.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Help prevent suicide by reading and sharing these books with others. 2 great books are available to help in this Kardec Radio campaign to prevent suicide. Suicide, All You Need to Know, by the international Spiritist speaker Richard Simonetti. You can buy your copy at www.roundtablepublishing-uk.com. Also, Memoirs of a Suicide by the medium Yvonne Pereda. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Kardec Radio, live every Saturday at 11 a.m.
Kardec Radio now offers more programs during the week and weekends. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can follow the beautiful program God at Home with Francisca Kranz and the British Spiritist community. They will brighten your days by doing a God at Home meeting wherever you are in the world, while teaching you how to do the same in your own home with your family and friends. Every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will hear incredibly inspirational Spiritist talks directly broadcasted by Spiritist Network. They will be true educational moments to carry out to immortality. Every Saturday, live interviews, Bridging Health and Spiritism with the host Dr. Vanessa Anceloni. You may ask questions to the interviewed guests by calling 858-769-4705. And every Sunday, tune in the Spiritist Awareness at Kardec Radio. You will hear a series of segments on a diversity of Spiritist topics. Kardec will broadcast the Spiritist Moment with Kirsten DeMello, the reading of the Spiritist book by John DeRosa and Steve Shepard, Spiritism in Your Life with Drs. Marco and Joyce Magalhães, Spiritism and the Gospel with Luis Sergio Marotta, Spiritist Education for Youth and Children with Bernadette Leal, Spiritist Music with James Marotta, Neuroscience and Spiritism with Dr. Vanessa Anceloni, and many more segments coming soon. Enjoy it all and nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
And now we return to our program.
We are here, dear listener, talking about spiritual assistance in Spiritist centers. First of all, people can get spiritual assistance in Spiritist center. What kind of spiritual assistance, you may be asking? The type of which you study to get to know more about spirituality. You also can learn how to be concentrated in prayer, learning to pray, which is very important because many people, they say, can you pray for me? And they don't know how to pray. So Spiritist centers actually have this important opportunity for people to learn how to pray. And also, they can receive spiritual assistance in regards to a conversation with a practitioner, a fraternal counselor who can come and in a few minutes, not like a psychologist or psychotherapy, but going there and talking about what's going on, the difficulties, the challenges, etc. And they can give them a feedback on how to proceed from there on. Also, spiritual assistance includes receiving spiritual treatments, which include the healing or the passes or the laying on of the hands, and also the drinking of spiritually blessed water and receiving these obsession treatments. So it's a vast range of opportunities for people to receive care in Spiritist centers. For you, we would say you can at any point receive this if you go to a Spiritist center. Spiritist centers vary from the features that they offer, but in general, they may offer something in the range we've just talked about. Today, we're going to discuss the point of view of those who want to receive the spiritual assistance and the point of view of those who want to participate in the team that is going to offer this service in the Spiritist Center. You can also read some information about this in the latest issue of the Spiritist Magazine, issue 25, in our website, thespiritistmagazine.com, pages 6 and 7. There's an article here, which was first published in Brazil, and then we translated it and published it here, talking about great numbers, something just so we know how spiritual assistance can be really striking. In Brazil alone, the largest Spiritist country in the world, in São Paulo City, there are hundreds of Spiritist centers there. And on a survey that was done in São Paulo City on 55 Spiritist centers, they've observed that per month they were delivering 60,000 spiritual services a month, which was actually more than a large hospital in São Paulo City. It was much more, in greater number than any hospital there, which is quite surprising in a way. And at the same time, as they propose in this article, that the idea is, if this is the reality, for example, in Brazil, spiritual therapy for patients should be like should be a complementary approach to traditional medicine, which is quite fascinating. And amongst the reasons many people look for spiritual service or spiritual assistance in Spiritist centers is mostly due to depression, cancer, diseases in general, drug addiction, and disobsession, etc. So it's quite fascinating that people who have this very important service at hand, that they cherish it. So from the patient's perspective, we would say you will benefit from spiritual assistance whenever you feel lost, whenever you feel sick emotionally, mentally, physically. Combining with medicine and psychotherapy, you can very soon recover, have a better quality of life, etc. So we would recommend that you find out where the nearest center is and schedule a visit for you to benefit from this service. Now, what do you need as a patient to make this service effective? First, faith. Jesus said, your faith heals you and healed you. So it's our faith that becomes the open door to the reality of life. It's not about the practitioner only, Jesus, God, etc. It's about us, in the sense, if I am not open, I am not going to receive the benefits that even Jesus in person can come and deliver. And that's exactly what happened in Jesus' time, as you know. Many people were there receiving the spiritual care, but they didn't care. They were like skeptical. They didn't have faith. They were not healed. Jesus always said, your faith healed you. So it is on the patient to have faith, to trust God. And when we talk about God, another thing Mentor Joseph often reminds us, something that is the cornerstone of the Spiritist teachings. Question number 1 of the Spirit's book, God. God is the supreme intelligence of the universe, first cause of all things. What is your relationship with God, dear listener? How are you doing in that regard? Many people have problems because they are very distant from God. Even if they say, I've been praying. You know what? How do you pray? Do you actually meditate on God? Do you really feel the presence of God? Do you think about God before you actually pray? When you walk in nature and you observe the details of nature, you really, really get to know about God. When you stop for a moment and in silence, you allow yourself to be immersed in this ether that is emitted by God in His loving embrace, then you rediscover your relationship with God. It's very important. Many people have problems because they lack work on their relationship with God. God doesn't need to do anything because God always does provide to us. But we need to work on our end. So the patient needs faith to rescue their relationship with God, then to cleanse their hearts. It is going to be impossible to bring new health, new energy, if you are holding grudges, if you don't forgive others, if you don't let go of circumstances that have passed. It's quite interesting that recently science has showed that those who think positively, they attract positive circumstances, such as luck. In Spiritism, we don't believe in luck. because we know things have a reason. There is cause and effect, but there are blessings. So we attract blessings as we are positive. So if I tell you this is the medication, drink it, you're going to be healed. If you're skeptical, you're not going to drink it. You're going to postpone your own healing. So faith, rescuing your relationship with God, and then, of course, need to clean your inner life. These are main elements for you to really go for your healing, your spiritual assistance, and be open to receive the spiritual assistance you may find in a Spiritist center. Don't look for miracles, because miracles don't actually exist. And I will explain what it means. In the book Genesis by Allan Kardec, he has this discussion on miracles. When we define miracles as ways in which the laws of God are changed to bring a blessing, that saying does not exist, because God is the supreme intelligence. When he created a law, it is for real. There's no need to withdraw it or to change it or to bend it, because he knows what he's doing. So actually, when we say miracles happen, we're talking about things that are out of our explanation. We cannot explain. We cannot explain. But there is an explanation. For the time being, we cannot explain, but there will be an explanation, because anything in the universe has an explanation. There is cause and effect, the law of cause and effect. So in that regard, dear listener, when you go searching for your spiritual assistance, be open. Do not expect to find a guru at a Spiritist center. I tell you that if you go to a Spiritist center where there is almost like a leader, guru, etc., watch out. That is a no-no. Why? There's only one guide and model for us on earth, Jesus. Everyone else becomes an instrument. And as instruments, we're not gurus. We're not spiritual leaders. We're actually facilitators of one another's self-discovery and spiritual journey. As facilitators, we don't hold any promise. We don't perform miracles. We share. We share love. We share harmony. We share serenity. And you can receive it if you look for the change inside of you. We're going to give a short break, dear listener. When we come back, we're going to tell you more about extreme cases for spiritual assistance and how you can engage in a spiritual treatment as a practitioner yourself after the break.
We will return to our program after these messages.
New release, Liberation. In this compelling narrative, Andre Louise emphasizes the work of high-order spirits in the effort to convert the spirit Gregorio to the good, an effort that culminates with the unforgettable re-encounter with his mother, herself a highly evolved spirit, wherein he surrenders to the irresistible call of love. The book also contains information on how unhappy spirits act as they try to involve incarnates in their wiles. The spirit author tells of the intercession of high-order spirits on behalf of human beings, demonstrating the divine compassion that grants to all the blessed opportunity to free themselves by means of study, labor, and persevering service in the practice of the good. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Want Spiritist books for your children? At Edicei of America, you will find a collection of them. From the best-selling book Our Father, in which the spirit Mei Mei through Chico Xavier brought countless poems, stories, and folk tales based on the Lord's Prayer, to the beautiful and educational collection by the author Adelson Sales on Back to School and many others. Buy your copy today at www.eddiesaveamerica.com.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
If you missed out on previous shows, no worries. We have an on-demand sections of all previous shows and interviews. Go to our website, www.kardecradio.com.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio.
Spiritism for Everyone is the live web study meeting and educational program of the United States Spiritist Council. This year, in commemoration of the 150th anniversary of the Gospel according to Spiritism, the Spiritism for Everyone program will present an in-depth study of this remarkable book. Join us every Wednesday evening through the web from any computer or mobile device, no matter where you are in the U.S. Spiritism for Everyone is free, open to all, and requires no registration. For more information, go to www.spiritist.us.
And now we return to our program.
Yes, dear listener, we're talking about spiritual assistance in Spiritist centers. And before the break, we're just talking about how you can receive that type of assistance in a Spiritist center. The most critical case is the case of people who actually are undergoing obsession. Obsession is what people call spirit attachment, when they feel like spirit entities are, attached to you. In Spiritism, in the Medium's book, chapter 23, Allan Kardec explains the whole 9 yards of obsession, saying, by definition, that obsession is this persistent, negative thought from one mind to another. You can be obsessed by an incarnate. If you have somebody who hates you, they are sending negative thoughts towards you, and that may characterize an obsession if and only if you allow that negativity to take place in your life. Because people can actually try sending negativity, and not necessarily you're going to fall prey to it. But when you allow it to take place in your life, negativity to hold you back from progressing in your life, then you are in obsession, undergoing a process of obsession. But there is always a solution. The book Obsession by the Spirit Manuel Filomeno de Miranda through Divaldo Franco, which can be bought at the website of the Spiritist Society of Baltimore, has a whole explanation about obsession in the very beginning of the book at its introduction. You can read more about this, okay? And find out more about the process. What is important here is to know that of all the places in the world, the only one that is going to help you relieve yourself from obsession is Spiritist centers. That's why we need more and more, because many people around the world actually experience obsessions. And when we talk about obsession, it's the case of people like, for example, going from a common simple obsession, such as, I feel there's something with me. Every time I try studying, I feel there is a headache or something. This can be common simple obsession, to higher levels of obsession, such as subjugation, cases in which people really become mentally ill and can commit crimes or commit suicide. So it's very important that you don't allow it to escalate, that you find help as soon as possible. And I mean as soon as possible because little by little, the idea of those who are obsessing us is to make us lose the sense of our free will. making us feel like we're imprisoned. That's the case of drug addiction. Drug addiction is most commonly caused by this obsession. And we say it's almost like a subjugation, because oftentimes people who are addicted, they say, I wish I could stop, but I don't know how. I don't feel I can. So their will is impaired. But there is a way. We know many cases of people who actually underwent a combination of medical treatment, psychological care, and spiritual assistance, and they received the healing from this obsession. Okay, from the obsession in itself, meaning the disobsession process. So all you need to do is to contact your Spiritist Center, go there, be open, knowing that God is bringing to you the tools that you need to find the relief. After all, Spiritism is the promised consoler by Jesus. And this meaning that we're going to find relief, new hope, new strength, new consolation. Well, what about those? Some people have been sending emails asking questions about how can I actually become a Spiritist practitioner to engage into offering such services, passes, mediumistic meetings for this obsession, etc. Well, this is a very long story. We're going to begin by disclosing the following. First and foremost, you need to ask yourself, will I make this a priority in my life? Because it's not a hobby, dear listener. Some people make it a hobby, like, oh, once a week I go there and I give passes. No. You don't operate on people's energies as if you were like playing tennis or dancing Zumba at the gym or doing aquarobics. No. It's not how it works. You don't enter somebody else's energy field, operate on it as if it were a hobby. You have to have strong commitment inside of you. But commitment does not come from outside in. I know many people who come and say, oh, Vanessa, I would like to help. Well, let me tell you how the mentors work. Keep coming to the center. Keep studying. Keep helping us in the very little tasks. When the mentors see that you are not taking for granted small commitments, they will call you, invite you for greater commitments. Look at the book. If you haven't read, I would say a great manual for the Spiritist practitioner can be found at the book Paul and Stephen, published by Odyssey, and you can buy at this website, odysseyofamerica.com. In that book, psychographed by Chico Xavier, the spirit author is Emmanuel. We're going to read and learn true accounts of those who were apparently prepared to help, but they had to hold on to other tasks before the pathway opened the doors for them to engage into other tasks, healing, speaking, mediumship, etc. So we would say, first and foremost, you need to make it a priority. 2, study. The Spiritist practitioner has to study a lot. There is no such thing like, oh, I know it all. I know how it works. I feel it. My mentors tell me. Oh, yes. Okay, fine. But you, the spirit mentors, need a mind that is refreshed with new study, rid of ignorance. Come on. We all know we have our ignorances. So it's very, very important that you study. So participating in a study group at a Spiritist center is vital. This means that if you want to become a Spiritist practitioner for spiritual assistance, you're going to be in the Spiritist Center at least twice a week. One to study, another to serve. There is no other way. And this is not like rigid. No, this is actually an opportunity for you to learn, polish, calibrate yourself so the day you serve, you're ready. And it's teamwork. So this is number 3. If you want to serve in a Spiritist Center, you really, 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 really need to learn in teams. If you are like a loner, it's not going to work. Even Chico Xavier himself, he learned how to work in a Spiritist group. He never worked by himself. He always was in Spiritist centers working with groups of people. In mediumistic meetings, no matter how great of a medium he was, there were other mediums working with him, and there were also spiritual counselors. So it's vital that we learn to work in teams. After all, we are social beings, dear listener. So here we have 3 items already, right? 1, you need to make it a priority in your life. 2, study. And then what we just discussed. Then teamwork. Then the other items we're going to talk about after the break. You can send your question and your comment, and we are right here to lay it on to you, the possible answers.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Books of Andre Luis. Through the hands of the most prolific medium of all times, Chico Xavier, the spirit doctor Andre Luis wrote a series of books that unveil the mechanisms of life and life after life. From the best-selling novel No Solar, Our Home, to And Life Goes On, the reader will find illumination for a fulfilled life on Earth as well as immortal happiness. Check the many titles available at the international distributor, EDI CEI of America. Their website is www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Spiritist Network, your gateway to on-demand Spiritist videos. www.spiritistnetwork.com.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio. Traveling to another country? Immigrating elsewhere? Prepare yourself by reading the book Among Brothers of Other Lands, in which several loving and wise spirits wrote through the hands of Chico Xavier and Waldo Vieira, telling all of us the tips and hints of a successful transition to a new land. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Do you want Spiritist books for your children? At Odyssey of America, you'll find a collection of them, from the best-selling book Our Father, in which the Spirit Mei Mei, through Chico Xavier, brought countless poems, stories, and folk tales based on the Lord's Prayer, to the beautiful and educational collection by the author Adailson Salles on Back to School and many others. Buy your copy today at www.odysseyofamerica.com.
And now we return to our program.
Dear listener, we are here talking about spiritual assistance in Spiritist centers. And as we mentioned before, you can find a great article about this in the latest issue of the Spiritist magazine, which you can read online or get your own copy at thespiritistmagazine.com. On pages 6 and 7, it talks about how great the spiritual assistance is in countries such as Brazil. with great number of people being assistant, even more than people who go to a hospital there. It's really amazing, something to think about. So, dear listener, when we talk about forming a center and creating an opportunity to offer spiritual assistance to people, we're talking about charity. You know, nowadays people think, oh, let's help this nonprofit organization that gives food to the poor, that gives clothes to those who are in need. That's wonderful. But there's also the need to give spiritual food for people. That's also charity. Though some people have not actually been aware that this is charity, it is charity. And it's great charity because it empowers people. It empowers them. It frees them from their actual problems. So we have here a listener, our friend Karina Menezes from South Virginia. She's asking us, would it be better to have the ability to study at home if one does not have access to a Spiritist center? That's right, Karina. You should start at home. Everything began in homes. It began in Kardec's home, Chico Xavier's home, Divaldo Franco's home, etc. You can start in your home. We started the Spiritist side of Baltimore in our home. And now it's a center. It's going to turn 16 years this year. And it's an opportunity for you to begin it. You can begin studying at home. There is no problem at all. From there on, things move along and move to another step. Ideally, begin where you can begin. If it's your home, there is no problem at all. A study session can always be done at home. That's how majority of centers actually are formed around the world. And there's no problem with it. Okay? Now, we talked about elements of engagement for Spiritist practitioners. And I'm going to give you a tip. If you go to the website of the SS Baltimore or SS Virginia, the Spiritist Center in Virginia, where we are, we have the Roadmap program. And there is a course that is very special, Spiritual Laws for the Spiritist Practitioner. You can go there and download for free the workbook. And you can study this together with a group. And that's a great material to start your team on how you're going to operate, because it talks about the laws of engagement. And I say laws of engagement because there is no other way, dear listener. If we want to achieve excellence in helping others, we really need to refine our knowledge, to refine our beings. In this course, The Spiritual Laws of the Spiritist Practice, you have 10 lessons that talk about the good Spiritist and the Spiritist practitioner, spiritual dimensions of the Spiritist Center, to serve and to be an instrument of God, teamwork, spirit mentorship, emotional education, importance of rules and regulations, law of fluids, study on the book Missionaries of Light, and a graduation lesson. These are wonderful lessons that were planned by Mentor Joseph, and you can apply this in your study group to form a team of practitioners that are aware of what they are doing together. Study is vital for people to actually achieve good results. But if you ask, what is the main element that a Spiritist practitioner needs to be helpful in spiritual services in Spiritist centers? You probably already know the answer. Love. Oh, Vanessa, that's so cheesy and trivial. No, it's the main element. The main element. For example, I was talking to friends the other day. If you want to be a Spiritist practitioner, how can you, when you sit at a study session, be impatient with your colleague because your colleague is talking too much? How are you going to be effective in helping those who come to a Spiritist Center? Very rarely. Because if we cannot be patient with those who are studying with us, are we going to be helpful to those whom we don't know? Very likely not. Also, if I badmouth colleagues in the Spiritist Center, is it possible that I will be then effective helping others? No, not at all. So, when we talk about becoming a Spiritist practitioner, we talk about inner transformation. We really have to work on this. And love becomes the key that opens the door of our hearts to become instruments of God. Love. How do we exercise love? There is love for God, which is the most important one. Love God above all things. Do we really love God above all things? If a Spiritist practitioner does not work on that, there is no way God's going to operate on us, through us, to help others, because we're blocking it. So we have to work on our relationship with God. Loving God, meaning at toughest times, feel God's presence, as if God were telling us, dear friend, dear child, I trust you. I trust that you can overcome this obstacle. You can overcome this obstacle. Trust me because I trust you. That's why I'm allowing you to learn through this very experience. So our love for God is the first way to open our love capacity to become a good Spiritist practitioner. And then loving ourselves. When we talk about the love for ourselves, first question is, ourselves who? Because we're not the physical body alone. We're spirits connected to a physical body. So when we talk about self-love, we're talking about take care of body and spirit, as says the message in the book, The Gospel According to Spiritism. It's chapter 17, Be Perfect. The chapter 17 has many beautiful messages, amongst them take care of body and spirit. So we need to work on our self-love. Are you taking care of your physical body? Because how can you actually help somebody who has a problem if you are not taking care of yourself? So eating properly, exercising, resting well are good ways to begin with. Also, taking care of yourself, spirit, meaning spiritual nourishment, good literature, good books, good conversations, prayers, meditations, and most important, the exercise of charity. Charity, it's not almsgiving. We're talking about giving of our time to others, sharing the resources we have at hand, emotional, spiritual, material resources. These are ways in which we can polish ourselves to love ourselves more. So loving God, loving ourselves, and then loving whomever appears in our lives. This is almost like a consequence. Because if I love God and I love myself, inevitably I will open my heart to others. And then I become a good Spiritist practitioner, loving and caring like Chico Xavier. Dear listener, we're going to give another break. When we come back, we're going to answer questions from friends. And if you have more comments or questions, we are here for you.
We will return to our program after these messages. Want to learn more about the ins and outs of mediumship? The book, In the Realms of Mediumship, by the Spirit Dr. Andre Luiz, through the medium Chico Xavier, analyzes the various aspects of mediumistic communication and mediumship. He also praises the efforts of mediums who are faithful to the spiritual mandate they received before they reincarnated, warning them about the risks of badly practiced exchanges between the two worlds. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
The Spiritist magazine is a trimestral digital periodical that publishes the latest news on the Spiritist thought and the movement in the USA and worldwide at www.spiritistmagazine.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Study Spiritism online at eSpiritism. eSpiritism is an online tool to promote the study and practice of Spiritism while contributing to the preparation of Spiritist practitioners. For full access to courses, go to www.e-spiritism.org.
If you missed out on any previous shows, no worries. We have an on-demand section of all previous shows and interviews. Go to our website at www.kardecradio.com.
Emmanuel's Novels. The reputable mentor, Emmanuel, wrote a 5-book series of Spiritist novels that can truly transform your life. Starting with 2,000 Years Ago, Emmanuel delights our minds with the true account of characters that are so similar to each of us. Discover yourself in Emmanuel's novels and live better. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com. And now we return to our program.
Dear listener, we are here in our last portion of the program today, talking about spiritual assistance in Spiritist centers. And our friend Karina Menezes is asking where we can find the course I mentioned online. Go to the website ssvirginia.org/roadmap. There you're going to find the booklets or the workbooks for the several courses, including the spiritual laws of the Spiritist practice. You can download free of charge. Spirit Mentor Joseph put it all together in 2008, and it's been studied throughout the world, and we still study here at the Spiritist side of Virginia. And it's been very, very helpful, not only to know about Spiritism, but also to form a team of practitioners that can be effective. As Karina Menezes shares, it is a constant battle to work on ourselves, but once you become aware of the changes you must make, then you're ready to start step by step. You're right. When we talk about inner transformation, Karina, it's a step-by-step process. That's why we love ourselves, knowing that we are going to get there sooner or later. But little by little, we are going to get there. What is important is to, if we rewind the tape, let's go to Kardec, the first Spiritist, let's say this way. He says in his posthumous works that he didn't know where he was heading and the impact of the works. Think about it. At a time in which nobody knew, everybody was playing with spirit phenomena, etc., Kardec was there, taking it seriously, sharing books. At the time, he had no idea how big it was going to become, that it would be like around the world like it is today. Kardec Radio alone is in more than 61 countries. So what we do is we start with small sessions, few people. Little by little, more people come. They feel good. What is important is not to have lots of people, but to have people who feel good about the service, who feel taken care of, who feel they have an opportunity of growth as well, spiritually speaking. So you can start in your home, doing your study group, or like we do. As some of you may know, every Monday we study the Roadmap program at the Spiritist side of Virginia. So For those who are not living in the state of Virginia or living far away, even in the state of Virginia, because it's a large state, we have people participating in the study sessions through Skype sessions. And it's Skype because we don't only want you to watch us, but we want you to participate as well. We have people in Seattle, South Virginia, Brazil, etc. So it's an opportunity for people to join with us. And if you're interested in that opportunity, write to us at cardiacradio@gmail.com. I'll be happy to listen from you and find solutions for your study needs. Now, when we talk about being a Spiritist practitioner, love is the first key. As the Spirit says in the Gospel, love one another and instruct yourselves. Instruction, study. Many people think that spirituality needs no study. It's the contrary. It needs more study than we imagine. No wonder Chico Xavier himself published more than 400 books. These books were psychographed because it is the way to go. When we read these books, we get to know about the laws of life, and we make less mistakes, and we expedite our progress. That's why we have these books, to expedite our progress. Now, dear listener, for those who are also sending us messages about their gospel favorites, I would say for Spiritist practitioners, the Gospel According to Spiritism becomes the book at hand. You know what I do with baby Virginia? She's 8 months now. She's turning actually 8 months tomorrow, which is the 22nd. And since before she was born, the day she was born, I had the Gospel with me in the hospital. And every day by the nursing chair, because she's still breastfed, I have a Gospel According to Spiritism, and I read it for her. Every time I finish breastfeeding her, I take the Gospel and I play with her saying, the Gospel According to Spiritism. Now I ask her to open the book for me, and her little hands try to open the book. Of course, she's not able to do it so much because she's not that strong, but she's learning it. And at the end, I say, yeah, happy book for happiness. And I give it a little kiss, and I tell her, oh, let's kiss this book, etc. This is also for us Spiritist practitioners, great opportunity to find, new thoughts, new feelings, to calibrate ourselves, and also to reach out to others with greater wisdom. The Gospel According to Spiritism. And Karina, yes, you're right. The course we just mentioned, the Spiritual Laws of the Spiritist Practice, the course is on the roadmap. You can also do it online with the help of facilitators at espiritism.org. Thank you for the reminder. You're right. If people don't want to do it by themselves, they can do it through espiritism.org and with facilitators just as Mackenzie Mello, Franz Kranz, Daniel Santos, and sometimes myself. You can also get a hold of it. Now, let me recap something that somebody emailed to me a few minutes ago. Somebody saying, oh, Vanessa, I participate in a center in another country. I won't mention where. And, I want to become a Spiritist practitioner. I've been to study sessions, but, I go in and out of the center. I do the study sessions, but nobody calls me to become a Spiritist speaker or pass giver, etc. I don't think they are observing me. Let me explain to you how it works. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work in that way. You need to persist because the spirit mentors are saying it. And if people are not calling you for the task, probably you're not ready. And if you give up on coming to the center or going to the study sessions, thinking that people are going to call you so you stay there, the center does not need us. We need the center. If the worker or the Spiritist practitioner is not really cherishing the little tasks, Let's say you're the one who gives the water, you're the one who cleans the center, you're the one who, I don't know, buys paper cups, etc. And you think this is of minor consideration, the spirit mentors are not going to give you greater responsibility because they know that you're not cherishing the little tasks. So cherish the little tasks before the mentors feel that you're ready for the bigger ones. And I don't think there are bigger ones. I just think that people think that there are bigger ones. But if you want to be called for other tasks, devote yourself with your full heart and engage with your open eyes without sleeping in sessions, without skipping sessions, etc. So thank you for sending this question, and be aware that you have to work on it. The mentors know when you're ready, work comes. That's what actually André Luiz said in the book Non Solar. When the apprentice is ready, work comes. So if it's not there yet, you have to be ready. And be ready is, are you praying for the team of people who are in the center? Because you want to help others, but are you praying for those who are there? How are we going to work in teams if you barely know the people who are there and you think you know, but probably you're not even helping them in their daily lives? So there are so many, several aspects. We really need to become a family. And family in the sense of dedication at struggles, when we go through struggles, praying for one another, having beautiful thoughts about each other, talking beautiful things about it. And this is the other thing I want to mention. It's about this passive-aggressive behavior. Yesterday I was reading an article at the Harvard Business Review magazine, and they were talking about how people identify themselves as passive-aggressive. One of the features is you don't say what you think about the person in front of the person. You badmouth the person. You, for example, the leader of the group. The leader of the group says something. You have no courage to say in front of the leader, and on the back you say, I don't like the plan, I don't like the way the administration is going, etc., etc. This is a passive-aggressive behavior. For Spiritist practitioners, it's a no-no. It's a no-no, and the mentors know. If you're being passive-aggressive, the mentors know. They're not going to call you to help the group because you're going to be more harmful to the group than of help. So think about it. I know it's tough to listen these words, but we have to meditate on it. And as Karina Menezes is saying to us, it's important to look for the little opportunities to make a difference, and you're so right. And you know, as we administrate a Spiritist center, all that you need is a good team that puts lots of love in the little tasks that we all do. Because each one of us, we do a little bit, and at the end, it becomes a great work together, a great work of love. Dear listener, we're going to give one last break because when we come back, it's our final moment to pray.
We will return to our program after these messages.
Books of André Luiz. Through the hands of the most prolific medium of all times, Chico Xavier, the spirit doctor André Luiz wrote a series of books that unveil the mechanisms of life and life after life. From the best-selling novel No Solar, Our Home, to And Life Goes On, the reader will find illumination for a fulfilled life on Earth as well as immortal happiness. Check the many titles available at the international distributor, EDI CEI of America. Their website is www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Spread the word. Kardec Radio, to learn more about Spiritism.
Spiritist Network, your gateway to on-demand Spiritist videos. www.spiritist.net SpiritistNetwork.com.
Nourish your soul with Kardec Radio. Traveling to another country? Immigrating elsewhere? Prepare yourself by reading the book Among Brothers of Other Lands, in which several loving and wise spirits wrote through the hands of Chico Xavier and Waldo Vieira, telling all of us the tips and hints of a successful transition to a new land. Buy your copy today at www.ediceiofamerica.com.
Do you want Spiritist books for your children? At Odyssey of America, you'll find a collection of them, from the best-selling book Our Father, in which the Spirit Mei Mei, through Chico Xavier, brought countless poems, stories, and folk tales based on the Lord's Prayer, to the beautiful and educational collection by the author Edailson Salles on Back to School and many others. Buy your copy today at www.odysseyofamerica.com.
And now we return to our program.
Dear listeners, we are here to pray. I know we have to go, but there's always more. Next week we have a beautiful program with a scientist. He's going to talk about this powers of the mind, mediumship, etc. in his book Supernormal. Quite compelling. It's great to know that scientists are reaching out to these very topics that we're discussing here at Kardec Radio. And you can participate online or sending your questions beforehand. There is a listener who sent a beautiful message talking about why they like their gospel favorite. Chapter 8, Item 18, Let the Children Come to Me. About a message from John the Evangelist. It says, Christ said, let the children come to me. Profound in their simplicity, these words do not imply the mere calling of children, but of the souls that gravitate in the lower regions, where misfortune knows no hope. Jesus called unto him the intellectual infancy of the full grown-up person, the weak, the enslaved, the wicked. He could not teach anything to physical infancy, which is subject to matter and the yoke of instinct, and does not yet belong to the higher order of reason and will, which is exercised around them and for their benefit. Jesus wanted people to come to him with the trust of those little beings of wavering steps. His calling to them would win him the heart of women, who are all mothers. Thus, he could submit souls to his tender and mysterious authority. He was the flame that shone in darkness, and the morning light that awakens the dawn. He was the initiator of Spiritism, which in turn must call to itself not little children, but mature individuals of goodwill. Dear beloved, the time has come in which errors, once explained, will become truths. We will teach you the precise meaning of the parables, and will show you the strong correlation linking what with what is. Truly I say to you, spirit manifestations are increasing on the horizon, and Spiritism is the message that will shine like the sun on the mountain tops. This is message on Chapter 8, Item 18 by John the Evangelist in the Gospel according to Spiritism. By the way, you can find great prayers for Spiritist practitioners in the last chapter of the book, Chapter 28, Items 5 and 6. Prayers for starting Spiritist meetings and for the mediums themselves. So let us pray then. Dear Mother, Father God, we thank you for the blessings of Spiritism that have brought to us new and the opportunity to learn and serve. Learning to love so we can conquer higher levels of vibration. We pray for all those brothers and sisters in humanity who are suffering today, who are in need of healing, in need of hope. May they find a helping hand, a loving embrace, a caring smile, a kind look. May they find a family member or a friend who helps them, and so be it. Dear listener, we hope you have enjoyed. If you have a question or suggestion, just call us at Kardec Radio or write to us at kardecradio.com. We have a contact form. Next week, we have much more. In the meantime, you have programs Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And enjoy, because this is the end of the month of June. In July, we have very, very special programs for you too. We love to hear from you if you have a question or suggestion. In the meantime, lots of blessings for you.
Thank you for listening to Kardec Radio, broadcasting live every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Email us and share your comments at www.kardecradio.com. Until next time, we wish you many blessings.